The moment we've all been waiting for this season, the epitome of world-class football, the highest level of sport in the world, the Champions League. We're down to 16 teams, and in this video I'll look through my glass ball and peer into the future to showcase the winner of these 8 interesting matchups. Sadly, this glass ball isn't telling me anything about my life, nor the winning lotto numbers, so the shady man behind the drugstore was lying. Damn, that's like $900 wasted. But anyway, let's roll right into it. First, we have Roma, the Italians, versus FC Porto in Portugal. An interesting matchup that many will regard as likely the weakest matchup that we have in the Champions League. Roma, who have sit with lackluster form in 4th place in the Italian division, with Porto sitting in 1st place in the Portuguese division. And although Roma do have the talent with the likes of Dzeko, but the inconsistency of this Roma side who achieved so much last season will be a very tough hurdle to cross. Porto, on the other hand, people like Abubakar up front are sure to be confident as they finish with the best record of any team in the Champions League throughout the group stage. However, that was against quite a bit of weaker opposition than many of these other teams face. Personally, with AS Roma's inconsistent record in the Italian league, I don't see them being able to top this resilient Portuguese side, who I think will take advantage of facing a weaker opposition. My prediction is a FC Porto victory. Now, next we have a very, very interesting matchup. We have Manchester United of England, who now newly sit 4th in England, and Paris Saint-Germain, or PSG, who sit top of the French division. Now, this was back in the Mourinho days, about 2 months ago. Anyone would sure as hell say PSG would destroy Manchester United. Because, back then, what was Manchester United? A broken shell of an old team. But now it's a different story, however. Let's not forget PSG's reputation, firstly, for always bottling it in Champions League, despite being one of the highest spending teams. Last season, everything was going for them. They were playing a weakened Real Madrid side, and yet they still lost despite everyone putting their money on them winning. One key note is that Neymar for PSG will be out for this matchup, and so will Verratti, also injured, and questions will surely be asked of this PSG side against the aspiring Solskjaer side of Manchester United. However, I've just been recently informed that Cavani is also in doubt, meaning Paris' biggest attackers and very key players will be out, meaning this PSG side will not be anywhere near full strength, as world record signing Neymar Jr. and Uruguayan striker Cavani and Verratti will also be out for the interesting fixture, therefore weakening this French side. I see with the likes of United, especially when the midfield is, I think that's where this match will be won or lost, with the likes of Pogba and Martial and Rashford, that they will be able to mount a challenge against the French Kings. But Mbappe is still a lethal attacking player, and I think he'll play well. I think Mbappe, he has to play well to see this PSG side advance anywhere near the trophy this season. I see United playing very well with this Solskjaer side, and I see this aspiring Manchester United side be spurred on by Solskjaer, who has yet to lose a match in his tenure. But unfortunately for them, I see them possibly winning the home game or drawing the home game, but I don't see them going to Paris and getting the results they need to advance. I see PSG and the young Mbappe taking advantage of the lackluster defense at times of Manchester United with Phil Jones, an example, and I see PSG advancing into the quarterfinals of the Champions League this season, and I see Manchester United going home. Next, what will be a very competitive fixture and will surely entertain, German leaders are set to take on Tottenham, side who barely advanced from the extremely tough group that contained Barcelona and Inter Milan. Dortmund, the German leaders, showed just how great they can be in the group stage with only 1 loss and conceding only twice, maintaining the best defensive record of the competition. However, their greatest player, Royce, is questionable for the first leg after being injured in their DFB Pokal match. last week. For Tottenham, Kane will not be playing, and Ali will most likely not be playing, greatly weakening and hampering their attack. Son, who has been coming in clutch for Tottenham as of late when Kane injured, has done, he's done what he had to do. He's given Tottenham the wins. They've yet to drop points since the injury spell. Personally, I see Son playing very well. If Tottenham want any chance, he has to play well. The South Korean has to play very well. However, I don't see that being enough to get over the yellow wall that was nicknamed the term for the Dortmund defense. I see it being a great struggle to get any goals against this Dortmund side. Not only that, but Sancho for Dortmund will likely have a very good game. And if Royce can play, that would be very bad news for the Spurs side. For Dortmund, recently, as of late, they've been having inconsistencies in the league. I think they can put that beside them when they play in the Champions League, and I see them being able to put their poor form as of late behind them and being able to play against Spurs. I don't see Tottenham advancing any further than they have in this competition. They squeezed by into this round on goals scored, not even goal difference. Meaning that, I can see maybe if they had Kane or if they had Ali, that this would be a more competitive fixture. But for whatever reason, my glass of ball is telling me that Borussia Dortmund will get the victory they need over Tottenham, especially at home. Next, we have Ajax of Netherlands versus Real Madrid of España. Ajax, who advanced undefeated and showed impressive signs of their young squad, looked to face an inconsistent but still three-time defending champion side Real Madrid. Ajax will be keen on pressing this Real Madrid side, as they'll definitely see potential and a possible upside of the odds. However, with the way that this Real Madrid side has been picking up form as of late, with wins against Sevilla and a draw with Barcelona and a victory in the Madrid derby against Atletico Madrid and advancement in the Copa del Rey, I see this Real, when the draw first took place, Real Madrid was a very weakened side who were dropping points left and right, who were slipping up against small teams. But now it's different. Now under Solari, and after he's gotten some time with this team, and especially after the Club World Cup, this team has really been picking up steam right around the Champions League, the most important part of the season. Now, although Ajax is a great young team who many neutrals would likely favor over Real Madrid, I see Ramos and Varane being a good center-back pairing for Real Madrid and being able to get the defensive job done against Ajax. And Benzema, who will be in attack, I see him as a very likely source to get a decisive goal and seal the victory for Real Madrid, especially with the way Vinicius Jr., with the way Benzema, Lucas Vazquez, I feel they will be key and crucial, and Bale likely coming off the bench will be key and crucial for Real Madrid victory. Therefore, I see Real Madrid advancing, defeating this Ajax team on the rise. Next, we have Olympique Lyonnais of France, where else with that kind of stupid name, against FC Barcelona of España. Where to start with this one? Barca, a dominant team who have been challenged and tested by many smaller teams throughout the season, and in fact they got knocked out to a very similar kind of team last season, AS Roma. Lyon are definitely the heavy underdogs, but quite possibly can pull an upset. We saw them get favorable results against also dominant teams, likely to one of their favorites, Manchester City, by beating them and drawing with them in their two matches in the group stage, who are also Manchester City are similar to Barcelona in the way they are dominant. Now, I see this one as a potentially entertaining match, especially if Barca don't start off on the right foot. Now, what I mean by this is, if Barcelona don't get a quick goal, I see this being a long and interesting two-legged affair. It's possible for Lyon to get through, especially with the way Barcelona have been playing recently. They've been dropping points left and right. They haven't been playing to their best. They simply haven't been performing as well as they normally do. But when push comes to shove in the Champions League, I see Suarez and Messi putting in the performances they need to get past this French side. Therefore, I see Barcelona advancing despite their poor form as of late. Next, we have Liverpool of England versus Bayern Munich of Germany. Possibly the highest rated matchup here. Liverpool versus Bayern Munich. Liverpool, who have been in dodgy form as of late, look to face against Bayern Munich, who have also been quite spotty throughout the entire season, although they both got wins in their last fixtures. I think this will be the most entertaining fixture of these, and it's going to be tough, and we all know Liverpool will be tested. They reached the final last season. Can they do it again? We know Bayern Munich will be tested, as they haven't been as dominant as they normally are in the league. Bayern Munich, who reached the semi-finals last season, will surely look to reprimand that performance of last season. But Liverpool, personally, I see the front three performing and clicking when it comes to the Champions League. When it comes to Champions League, I see Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Roberto Firmino being enough for Liverpool. I see their attack performing well, and their defense being widely organized with Van Dijk, who personally I think will have the match of his life against Bayern Munich, although he will be out for the first leg, which is important. But I don't see Bayern Munich's attack being able to take advantage of Liverpool's defensive blunders. Sure, it's going to be a tight and interesting fixture. Sure, it's going to be entertaining football. However, I can't see Bayern Munich crossing the finish line or being able to compete with Liverpool's high attack and high press way of playing. Assuming they play like that, although we've seen sometimes Jurgen Klopp dropping that formation, but I think it's in the team's best interests to keep that attacking flow that he normally does. Next, we have Atletico Madrid of España and Juventus of Italy. Two teams who play in similar styles. This will be an incredibly tactical match. Maybe not as entertaining, but will be very, defensive. Atleti, the defensive kings, play a very tactical game, who will be looking to grab a Champions League quarterfinal berth this season. Atletico Madrid are no doubt the best defense in world football. With Jimenez and Godin, and their defensive midfield and their defense very strong, very tight. However, we've seen Real Madrid just on Saturday. We've seen them manage to put three past this defense. We see them torch that defense, meaning it's quite possible for Juventus to do the same. However, I think the real face-off will be Allegri and Simeone, as this one could be won or lost on the bench. Godin is sure to be key for Atletico's defense, while Griezmann can have a good game, if he has a good game, can maybe grab a goal or two up front in the two legs. For Juve, I see Dybala and Ronaldo being key, as if they are able to perform with their unmatched talent, they can torch this defense. Because of this, I see Cristiano Ronaldo putting into performances that he usually does in the Champions League that he's been doing for the last, 90 years that he's been doing. I think that Juventus can get past the Atletico side. I think it's going to be a tight match. I think it's going to be a tactical one. I think it's going to be a lot of interesting tactical analysis after this one. But we'll have to wait and see. Juventus will definitely be desperate to get a Champions League. They can't win one. This is their chance. They came into this tournament as one of the favorites. Maybe they can continue and live up to that reputation. There's not much to say about this one. Besides, went ahead of myself. Introductions. We have Schalke of Germany versus Manchester City of England. Now, this hungry Manchester City side with Jesus, Sané, Aguero, we just saw them sexually abuse one of England's top sides. 6-0 thrashing. Forget thrashing. 6-0 rape of Chelsea. And it doesn't help that Chelsea's a feminine name. It doesn't help the club when you say, "Oh, Manchester City raped Chelsea." No, that doesn't sound right the way you say it. That doesn't help at all. Now, they can demolish this Schalke side. They can. They clearly can. They have the firepower to do so. However, I see, Schalke playing well. What could potentially happen is Manchester City, demolishing one leg and drawing the next. But But I don't see Pep Guardiola screwing up this chance against Schalke. Manchester City they will win one way or another, whether it be a 10-0 thrashing, whether it be a 2-1, whether it be a penalty shootout. Manchester City will go to the quarterfinals. I don't see them getting knocked out by the Schalke side. We will have coverage after to see, just how accurate these predictions were. Quick roundup of, according to my predictions, the teams who will advance are Porto of Portugal, PSG of France, Dortmund of Germany, Real Madrid of España, Barcelona of Spain, España, Liverpool of England, Juventus of Italy, and Manchester City of England. Now be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. This is Paperball rolling out.